Heavy Metal, Metal Hurlant. Both crowdfunded, both starting over with brand new first issues. I'm going to try to do a bit of a comparison between the two. Let's see how it goes. Hey everybody, it's FANzine Live. We've got two really nice looking zines, magazines that came out in the crowdfunding world. They circulated for crowdfunding at the exact same time. They came out almost within 2-3 weeks of each other. And that is Heavy Metal, latest version, #1, Legacy 321, and the English translation of the latest edition of Metal Hurlant, issue 1. Both Heavy Metal and Metal Hurlant started from scratch. They're both in English, and we've got them right here. So I'm going to try very quickly to give you my feeling on the two, and hopefully that might help you if you're interested in getting a look at some of this stuff. For those who don't know, Metal Hurlant came first. There were 4 amazing artists over, well, 3 and then their business partner, I believe, over in France. And I will see if I can find you a picture of those gentlemen. This is one of them, Philippe Droulet. But I think we've got a picture of those guys somewhere in here. We'll have to just find it along the way. Jean-Pierre Dionnet. Anyway, and this is a Mobius cover. Mobius, of course, no longer being with us. Metal Hurlant was first. They apparently came over to the States and tried to sell Metal Hurlant to American publishers, including the likes of Marvel Comics. Stan Lee said, "This is just too weird for us, and it doesn't play with our superheroes. We'll pass." Nobody else picked it up either, except for National Lampoon, who ended up making Heavy Metal for quite a while. And they've since given up the ghost, and now Heavy Metal's doing its own thing. And in both instances, both Heavy Metal and Metal Hurlant, you've got, in these first issues, they really try to capitalize on the kind of the history and the magnitude of the two magazines. And trust me, when I'm saying magnitude, these are not thin magazines. Metal Hurlant, the paper's a little thicker, but it's a bigger book too. But as you can see, they are both really substantial. They make for great reads. They're not cheap. This was like this is a $30 book for Metal Hurlant and $15 for Heavy Metal. So, I mean, you're spending some money, but you're getting your money's worth. The quality of the art is really good. The storytelling is really good, which then brings us to what makes these two different. And I honestly think that at the end of the day, it's about the places that they were made. If you are interested in an international scene, if you are interested in a more European flair and style to your comics, and there are some great ones in here. Yeah, this is actually an old Mobius piece. They do some reprints of his stuff as well. And there is Mobius in the late 70s. But there are some incredible comics. The artwork is just amazing. The storytelling is really high end. It's just great. Hey, they have an interview with Alan Moore. I think it was from during COVID. It's not a fresh one. But anyway, if you are interested in that, the European style, and as you can tell just looking at the artwork, they don't feel constrained by 50, 60, 70 years of American style superhero comics. They have their own path that they've taken. And it's a wonderful path. I mean, this is almost like this is not, but it looks like David Lloyd, V for Vendetta. But I mean, just some amazing artwork in this stuff. This is one of the first Mobius pieces ever done. It's a great book, and there's a lot of nice articles about it. This is a article, the French comic that changed the world, and it talks about the history of of Metal Hurlant. Has a neat bookend. Has the same story at the front and at the end, and kind of he had been reading the magazine all the way through, so you can see. But I mean, look at that. Look at that. Just incredible. Just wonderful. So anyway, if you are into a very no-holds-barred style of sequential art that really, it often challenges your preconceived notions about what comics should be, this is great. Neat thing is, this is all in English. I've got 2 issues of Metal Hurlant from France, but it is so nice to be able to read it in English. I appreciate it so much more. So that's Metal Hurlant. Heavy Metal, on the flip side, is a quintessentially American magazine. The comics are American, and you can tell. This character here, Tarna, is the mascot of Heavy Metal, and it actually has a couple stories in it. The cover is by Greg Hildebrandt. It's very, how do they say it? Crack the spine, melt your brain, let this be your invitation and your warning. I mean, that's kind of what they're going for. Heavy Metal in the States has a bit of a reputation for having fun with the adult side of comics. Not always. I mean, like this piece by Bilal is really solid. Bilal also was in Metal Hurlant. But they do go very adult. Now, the sex isn't totally obvious, but there's a lot of nudity, a lot of titillation. And if you like that, it's good. I mean, I'm fine with it. But anyway, they also have these, they call them alien disclosures and artist interpretations. And so it reads to me like they've sent out to this illustrator, Ladron in this case, this little piece. Says it was in the morning news, thousands of UFOs from outer space arrived Earth, causing havoc all around the world. Humanity was sure in only one thing: they do not come in peace. So it's like, okay, draw a page to illustrate that. Yeah, I'd say they don't come in peace. Some fake ads, a little bit of background on it, and then we start getting into Heavy Metal. And it's great. I mean, the artwork is great. You can see a little bit more horror in this. The style of the artwork really reminds me much more of, and yes, very glossy paper, reminds me much more of the American style of artwork. Some great looking stuff though. Now this is a little more Euro in its styling. Nice little tribute to Greg Hildebrandt, who is a fantastic artist. Another alien disclosure. Trying to show you stuff that I can get away with. Yeah, you can see this is that Tarna character. And again, the artwork really is more resembling of the American sensibilities of what comics could and should be. This one, a little bit less so. Very science fiction, both of them. I'd say there's a little more of a tinge of horror in Heavy Metal than in Metal Hurlant. A lot of blood. They're big into blood. Another Tarna piece. I did like this one. Kind of a little bit different. This is a piece done by Jim Rugg from Cartoonist Kayfabe, the Kecksburg UFO story. And I actually like, Jim doesn't subscribe automatically to the constraints and confines of American comics, but he's very clearly of American comics. And so there's enough to keep it familiar, but enough to kind of play with the conventions, at least in the figure work and the line work. Works really well. Some really nice looking stuff. Tim Vigil, who I should know, but not coming to mind. He did that. This is called Valentina. Some real nice stuff there. Looks like it was almost drawn with like a ballpoint pen. And they wrap up with a good old-fashioned robot war. And then they have some comic strips in the back, which are fun. So, Heavy Metal, nice book. Metal Hurlant, nice book. Do you want your American flair? Do you want your international flair? That's basically where I think it comes down. Heavy Metal goes a little bit into the European styling. The Metal Hurlant doesn't go as far into the American style. They pretty much are secure in themselves, and they don't want to mess around with that. I could very easily see myself, if these were both monthly publications, of just cutting off my pull list, getting these two and being happy every month. They're great. That's it. Metal Hurlant, Heavy Metal, both issues #1, both in English, both on FANzine Live. Leave a comment. Have you read either of these yet? Is there one that you're more interested in than the other? Any thoughts about either of the two titles, perhaps historically, and how it plays out into what you're seeing? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure your friends subscribe as well. Thanks again for watching. I will catch you next time.